It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2-3-4 for the final time.
Win number 1 on the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Nazareth Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
The Homestead Miami Speedway plays host to the third round of the 2021 NOFSRL Body Armor Cup Series here, now colored in Miami Vice theme. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to what will be an absolutely thrilling race tonight, the Autonation Miami Nights 500 here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. This famous 1.5 mile I guess I don't really know how you'd call it, but symmetrical oval track here. It's one of the most iconic ovals in all of North America. It's played host to some absolutely of the best stock car racing we've ever seen. It's played host to some open wheel racing, and even a couple times they thought the Roval was a good idea, but we try not to speak of that here. And it is going to be after an absolutely wild first 2 weeks. We took a week off for the Rolex 24, the Smokies Garage, or the 2.4 hours of Daytona. So after a bunch of endurance racing and all that, and the Mellow Yellow Smooth Fest that had just wrapped up just before this, cars are finally back out after a long week hiatus. So we're going to look to pick up the action right where we left off, and the winner of last week, Josh Williamson, starting on the pole this weekend. Join with me alongside, we actually have two folks in the booth here with me tonight. We have Trey Wright joining us alongside of Brennan Wilmington. Boys, it's Homestead Miami. It's one of the craziest tracks we've ever seen here. Trey, what are we expecting here tonight to pick up where we left off from Atlanta?
Oh, well, we've definitely got a high bar to cross if we want to cross that wild Atlanta finish, just that race in general, and definitely is going to be quite a hard race to top, but this is the Homestead Miami Speedway, and with these incredible Gen 6 cars with a high downforce package, I think it's definitely going to be, we are definitely in store for a fun one here down in South Beach, Florida, where they're running of the Autonation Miami Nights 500. Really great looking Miami Nights, Miami Vice themed track here down in Homestead Miami. We're just getting set for a great race here to kick off the third race of the season of the 2021 Body Armor Cup Series.
And obviously, it's after Josh Williamson, who's on the comeback from missing New Smyrna to winning last week. He starts on the pole. Scott Upton, who has an absurd 2.5 average finish through the first two races. He starts deep in the field today, looking to fend off his points lead. I tip it over to you for a moment here, Brennan. Obviously, it's a long race today. If you're some of the guys in the back, if you're some in the front, what do you think the game plan is for these guys today?
Well, I think that race there's going to be a lot of like 2 and 3 wide action, considering this is a multi-groove racetrack. I think the drivers that are going to back like Scott Upton will really have to excel at the passing the other cars effectively, and also I guess the pit strategy as well will come into play in this race.
And we definitely are going to see a lot of pit strategy here today. It should be a one-stop race, about 35 to 40 laps on the pit fuel run. It's a 67-lap race, obviously, 500 miles, but we're going to get these cars rolled off pit road again. Obviously, keep an eye out for some of the guys who start in the back. Bailey Pendergast, Scott Upton, two of the guys top in points, and they're starting deep in the field today, making a long comeback through the field, but as we hit the field, rolled off of pit road. It's going to be Josh Williamson on the pole position, picking up where he left off last week from victory, and Patrick Smith alongside him. Row 2 is Dustin Davis alongside of veteran Alexander Rowe. Andrew Miller in row number 3 alongside of the defending champion Brandon Nelson on his outside. Ryan Durrani and Marty Sakala make up row number 4, along with Angel Olvera and Arthur Xavier on row number 5. Eric Monaco and Joe Rutkowski make up row number 6. Rutkowski in his first career Body Armor Cup Series start. Nelson Reeves and Logan Williams in row number 7. Colton Yo and I believe that is Davey Johnson in row number 8. And then you've got William Brock and Aiden Macron 9, and Hairgel Arvin Alonso and Shane Lake in row 10. 67 laps, pit fuel window, 35 to 38 laps here tonight. Should be an absolute thriller here under the lights of the Homestead Miami Speedway for a bit of a vice night here. The Miami Nights 500. It is always one of the most exciting tracks we go to on the schedule. All 41 cars are here tonight. They're gonna all, looks like everyone has made it to the start-finish line. Dodge Challenger pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Sit back and relax, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Williamson, Patrick Smith lead us up through the gears, and we are racing at Homestead. They're going to be 3 wide coming down the front straightaway. Oh, Andrew Miller, Patrick Smith. That was a huge slide by Josh Williamson at the stripe. I believe it was. His timing and scoring hasn't even updated. Dustin Davis by just a few hundredths of a second over Williamson, Miller, and Patrick Smith, or Williamson, Smith, and oh, Williamson's in the high side. I think I saw 4, 5, 6 cars get in the top. They're 3 by 3, looking like a plate track here through the middle of the field, and 4 wide in the middle. That is not going to last for long. Oh, they're going to get off the corner. Williamson, though, is heading backwards. Oh, my goodness, that was almost a big wreck.
Indeed, that was a big wreck. We weren't kidding when that was. What we say is this place is a huge multi-groove racing facility. It's an absolute hornet's nest in the back there. Williamson went from starting on pole to about, on his way to about 15th or 20th or so. He's stuck on that high lane and he got some damage from hitting the wall off of 4. But man, these guys are racing like it is the final lap here. Up in the front, Dustin Davis in the 77 leads. We're about to go 4 wide once again. This is going to get tight all race, boys and girls. This is going to be fun.
Oh, that's a dangerous hornet's nest right there. Zidell, Clifton, Williamson, Pendergast is already moving his way up through the field with Keegan Thompson. I think they've already cleared outside. Oh, and there's a big wreck. There they all go. Monaco's around. Oh, that's McMillan. Upton, the points leader. Rutkowski, or one of the Polar Star cars. Turner's in it. Shane Lake. Oh, that 41 is absolutely destroyed. Johnson, Barretto. I think we had a feeling that was coming there. That was, you could kind of see that one coming from a mile away. Our first caution of the night here at Homestead. That's going to take out Scott Upton, put into a really bad position there. That 41 is absolutely, oh, that thing is stuffed into those. I don't know who he's stuffed into. I don't see, oh, yeah, that's going to answer that. The side of Davey Johnson, it looks like he got stuffed into. They were just going absolutely wild in the back of the pack, and it did not, I would say, Brennan, it did not pay off for them going 4 or 5 wide in the back of the pack there.
No, it absolutely was not, as they're doing something under the caution. It did not pay off for those guys whatsoever. I was holding my breath for those first few laps because that was absolutely insane. I didn't think they were going to make it that far. Obviously, you saw Josh Williamson get up into the wall. And what really blew my mind was how quickly the guys that started at the front, like Williamson, and especially the ones on the outside, fell to the back. It really just kind of, I guess the outside line really doesn't work here.
Now, we see a lot of Darlington beat-up cars there on the outside. I don't know. Interesting to note, Dustin Davis pitting from the lead early on in the race, and he went fuel only. Sakala went tires. Now, obviously, some of these guys back here, my goodness, Scott Upton looking like a Martinsville modified already, channeling his inner Kurt Busch vibes. That's there's a lot of cars torn up in that. and some interesting pit strategy being played. About 15 cars, it looks like, came down pit road. And with those cars coming down pit road, that moves Andrew Miller in the 51 for Perez Family Racing to the top of the leaderboard. And when we return here after the break, we're going to take a look at the replay from this first caution of the night and give you a couple angles of that. So we'll be right back here. We're going to take a quick break and come back with a replay here of this first incident that brought out the first yellow of the night in the Miami Nights 500. So take a look here at Arthur Xavier. Watch this 84. He's going to slide high to get into Josh Williamson here. I guess Williams, nah, he came up into Xavier, or Xavier went up into Williamson, and then it's just on from there. The 75 of McMillan, the 84, the 12 of J.V. Johnson. See that right there is where Scott Upton tore up his front end. Got to watch out for this 24 and this 6. They checked up really good here. That may be race-saving moves for them later on in this race if this race gets a little hectic down there. But that's our first incident there from the Skycam. Really just Xavier just slid up, took out Williamson there. Nowhere to go for a lot of these guys.
And Arthur Xavier there in the 84 just going to slide up the racetrack into Josh Williamson. Nowhere for these guys to go, and then a whole lot of them spinning out, and you got to feel bad for Scott Upton at the end. Absolutely no, wrong place, wrong time for the 41, and he is for certain probably going to fall outside the points lead at the end of this one. So tough break for the number 41 car. I don't think Stewart is going to be quite happy that they're not, as the points leading car tonight is already over, but clean this mess back up, and they'll quickly get you back to the action here at the Homestead Miami Speedway for the running of the Miami Nights 500. It's just getting good, ladies and gentlemen. This has been insane so far.
We are back here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Obviously, I saw that cleanup there after that wreck. Kind of a bit of a calamity there early on in the race, but up front, Andrew Miller in the 51. Angel Olvera in the 42's had a really quiet start to the season. Hasn't made much noise yet, but we know the veteran can get hot at any moment. Joe Rutkowski in his first start in the 44. Hergel Arvin Alonso in the 7. Nathan Baird in the 16. The 21 in Nelson Reeves. The 34 William Brock. Aiden Macrow. Bailey Pendergast and Keegan Thompson started outside the top 35. They're now 9th and 11th. Sandwich and Justin Zidell. So let's just keep that under note there later on in the race. Obviously, you saw a bunch of guys come down pit road there that time. We'll see how this all cycles out, though, with all the damaged cars we have. But in the meantime, back up front here on the restart, Andrew Miller in the 51. He gets off to a quick jump over to Olvera, but Olvera wants to look for that lead. He heads down to the bottom of the 51. So let's see if Rutkowski, which way will Rutkowski go on the 44? Or will Rutkowski try to split the middle, and Alonso's going to go with them? Olvera's going to slide way wide, and that's going to open the door for Alonso on the bottom to possibly get a shot at the lead here. Coming off of turn 4 at the stripe, Alonso and Olvera side by side. Oh, I think Alonso almost got him. Olvera at the stripe, though, by just a tad little bit more. Oh, they go way wide there. That's going to open the door for Macrow. Now Bailey Pendergast, who started, I believe, 39th on the grid, is looking to take the lead so early on. But Olvera on the top side, Macrow, Alonso. Oh, this is going to get very clustered here, coming off of turn 4, 4 wide onto the front straightaway.
Pendergast is trying to stuff it in there in the Oreos car. Contact with a lot of them pinballing there in the top 3 positions, all underneath a blanket. In fact, this entire pack is underneath a huge blanket. But here comes that 70 car on the outside of Pendergast. That is the 70 of Aiden Macrow. Macrow, as we have, Williamson in the wall once again towards the back. Never mind, that's irrelevant back there. But what an incredible battle for the lead. About 10 or 12 cars or so, all underneath a tiny little blanket as they go through for Pendergast with help from the 61 of Zidell on the inside. And we're only on lap 12 of the race, and they're racing like it is the final lap. I know I've said that already, but goodness gracious, what a chaotic race this has been already. The Renault car up in the outside wall. He's going to fall back just a little bit. Zidell going to the race lead. Help from William Brock and the 27. Now Zidell moves to the outside. Crowds Pendergast just a little bit. Pendergast gets through. Now they're going to be 3 wide. No, back down to 2 wide for second position. It is now Pendergast with the lead. 4 wide up from a land rush behind them. And I think we might see another caution soon.
Oh, Bartow and Baird going to put the squeeze in the middle. Clifton on the inside. Clifton, Macro's in the wall, so that might... Oh, my goodness. Somebody in a Mercedes. Somebody in a Mercedes absolutely knocked the wall down. Baird slides high. That's his teammate, Zidell, so he wants to be careful there to not take out his teammate. Clifton to the bottom. Rutkowski's going for 4 wide, going for broke there to get to the bottom. Remember, Rutkowski obviously has not raced in the first 2 races since he wasn't eligible. Just got the title off, got the entry off of the title reserve. So he knows if he wants to have a shot at this championship, he's going to need to make up a lot of points in a hurry amount of time. But anything is possible with these kind of points formats. But this is going to be interesting because we have seen, Brennan, a lot of cars have knocked down the wall. And when you have a lot of cars knocked down the wall, you're going to see a lot of guys with damage. It's going to be interesting to see how this field spaces out now that you have a bunch of cars that have knocked down the wall.
Yeah, and you can see the top 3 already have kind of distance from the rest of the pack. And from there, it's just 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide. It's been absolutely insane racing, but it's... Uh-oh, we got some car into the wall there. Too, just as I was saying, it was about to calm down. We have the number 16 car. I think that's Baird in the 16. Just knocked down the wall, just like you said. Now has pressure from behind by several different drivers.
And Keegan Thompson knocked down the wall. I know Turner obviously was in that accident, but he's holding his own up there. He's looking real strong. But right now it's Pendergast who started outside the top 35. I know we keep saying that. Dustin Davis, they are just pounding that outside wall tonight. Looking like a Darlington race here. It's not a... You don't want to get in that outside lane here tonight. That is absolutely for sure. Pendergast is opening up his lead a little bit. Rutkowski is in second. Alonso in third. Barely losing out to Rutkowski at the line. Macro is fourth. Bartow is fifth. So keep in mind, 2 of the Ryan Racing cars are in the top 5. That would be a huge haul for them in the owner's points if they could keep something like this up throughout the race. Clifton in 6th. Brock in 7th. Turner, Andrew Williams, Keegan Thompson round out the top 10 there. And you got Eric Monaco, Igor Barreto, Bouchard, Shane Lake, Colton Yo rounding out there. The next couple of guys. The field is starting to space out, though. That is one thing worth noting, and it looks like more of these guys space out. It looks like fewer of them are getting into the wall. I'm sure Alonso's about to knock it down. Ooh, Rose knocked that down hard. Lots of guys, though, getting that outside wall, which is going to make the tire fall off interesting as we get later into the run.
Yeah, and definitely with that, speaking of the tire wear and just like pit strategy in general with those guys coming down on lap 6 as Alonso once again gets to the outside wall. Oh, Williams inballing back there in the 99, but Pendergast has opened up to about a half a second lead over these guys with this high downforce package. That's definitely going to clean air is definitely the name of the game because he's got the 44 of
Joe Rutt.
Yeah, Joe Rutkowski in the 44. So it's slowly creeping in on that Hellcat of Pendergast. We'll just have to wait and see. But a lot of cars getting in the wall off the corner. They're just sliding through these corners like this is an ice rink. But a Pendergast Rutkowski in the 70 of Aiden Macro currently running 1, 2, 3 at the moment with Macro under fire from Noah Clifton in that hot black and pink Trident 97 car for NS Racing. It's been a very chaotic race so far. We're about to complete 20 laps here in the Miami Nights 500.
Bartow, I think, knocked down the wall. He's sliding back. I mean, look at this field. There are a lot of guys. You know, I know they got the big wing, but they made some adjustments to the tires. They made some adjustments, obviously, to the track surface. Lots of different changes from what we saw last year. Smith and Bartow knocked down the wall there. And we are seeing guys struggle with the handling of these race cars here around this racetrack. And there's Scott Upton just roaming around the back of the pack. I give Scott Upton some credit. The fact that he is still holding onto that race car, given there's no front end. When Equan Haslam did it, I mean, keep in mind, Equan Haslam did do it on New Smyrna, which is not to disrespect his ability, but Scott Upton's still out there with no front end on Homestead Miami Speedway. So that will be interesting to watch later in the race. But Brennan, Rutkowski, and Pendergast, they are really heating up for this battle here for the lead.
Yes, this battle's looking to be a really good one as Pendergast is under extreme fire from Joe Rutkowski, and now Rutkowski down to the bottom. Barely at the line, it looked like it was Pendergast who led them, but Ratowski's on the inside trying to get past the number 33. As they come off of turn 2, they're still side by side. The 33 bobbled a little bit, and Ratowski's still there, and they've got Noah Clifton closing in behind them as well. So they've got even more problems here as the 97 is going to start closing in on them as well.
Yeah, that 97 of Clifton. NS Racing obviously showed a lot of speed last week at 2 weeks ago at Atlanta. So we know that team has got some speed. Now here's something worth noting. Oh my goodness, Noah Clifton, is he going to try to make the move to get around both of them? He's going to take it 3 wide down the back straightaway. He's going to shuffle Rakowski back to third, and now Noah Clifton's going to try and go to first. Oh, he's not going to have the luck there quite yet. That car's just sliding up a little too wide. Pendergast is going to get into the wall. He knocks down the wall. And now Macrow's going to go for the lead at the stripe. Clifton, oh my goodness, there's a huge wreck.
Keep it to the inside. Keep it to the inside.
Monaco and Durrani. Monaco.
Stack up. Have some watch out. Everybody get it. Slow down.
My goodness, the back of this field is absolutely destroyed here tonight.
Looked like one of the Otter Island Motorsports cars was also involved in the wreck.
75 McMillan.
I think that was the 79 of Monaco who went around. Yeah, I think that was Monaco who went around there. I think.
No, that was McMillan.
Was that McMillan?
Yeah, Monaco's right there at the bottom of your screen. That's Monaco right there in the 79. So it's McMillan that went around in the back of the field along with Durrani. A lot smaller wreck than we saw on lap 6, but still, now we could possibly see some split strategy with the tire wear. Noah Clifton, definitely one of those guys, and we're going to see Pendergast. He's going to be the top car in this lead pack to come down the pit lane. Nobody else taking it.
Interesting.
Noah Clifton in these first couple of races, we saw what he was willing to do at New Smyrna. And,
yes, we did.
Didn't pay off from there, but definitely establishing early in that 97, he is willing to take risks. And hey, you know what, Junior Johnson, he either won with the car or he wrecked with the car. We got a couple of cars there. Actually, pretty much the back half of the field, I see Barto, Bouchard, a couple other guys heading down. Upton once again, but he doesn't have a front end. It's like Pendergast is going to try and get out first. Once again, split strategy with most of these guys.
Yeah, I don't think honestly, I think everybody else who came down has damage from hitting the wall, which, my goodness, I'll be the first to admit we might have broke the I&I just a little bit. Just a little bit. But the racing up front it's been quite exciting, and these restarts have been absolutely monstrous. This is going to be interesting because Pendergast has 40 laps to go. I just don't think that's a long time. That's a long time at Homestead. But I don't know if the thing I'm confused about is I didn't think that Clifton had came down on the first set of pit stops. But we've also seen so many cars cycle in and out. I'm honestly not sure. But Rakowski didn't.
It's very hard.
Alonso didn't. So there's definitely some guys who have not even made a pit stop yet, which means we've still got some guys who are going to have to pit under green, which, depending how this plays out, may or may not work out in their favor. But we'll take a quick break here. Obviously, it was just a simple incident. Looked to be just a simple spin back into the wall and drive away for some of those guys. We'll take a quick look at what happened here to bring out our second caution of the night in the Miami Nights 500. Watch this 79 here, Monaco on the bottom. Durrani in the middle with Yo. I think Andrew Williams. Yep, right there. No, it's Yo's going to get slid. I think Durrani might have gotten just a little sideways too, but Durrani comes down, plows Eric Monaco. Durrani's going to rear end pack that 19 pretty viciously into the wall there. 79 of Monaco, outside of that initial contact from when when Durrani spun him, looks like he got off pretty okay. Great save there overall by that 79. He held it down real good. I mean, credit to both these drivers. They definitely they could have slid back up into the field and taken out more cars, but they didn't. They locked it down and avoided an even bigger incident here at Homestead, Miami. So we are back here, coming to the restart here. It'll be lap 30 of 67. It's been a slower paced race for a Homestead race than normal, but it's been, needless to say, as they drive under the blessed beard man. giving his blessing on tonight. When it's on, it is beautiful racing, and when it's off, it is absolutely chaotic wall bashing and cars wrecking. But such is the way we do things in the Miami. The race has been blessed by Fitzmagic, and we will continue until the bitter end. Pace car making the left back down pit road, so it's Clifton, Macro, Turner, Rutkowski, Thompson, Lake, Johnson, David Johnson, Alonso, and Brock Nelson, along with William Brock making up your top 10. Again, interesting thing to note, Clifton has not pit yet in this race to my knowledge. I'm almost 100% certain that Macro hasn't. Rutkowski's on fire on the restart here. There goes Turner back down to 4th. Now we'll see if Thompson can go to 5th. Thompson trying to do the last of first challenge. Shane Lake, Harold DeLarvin Alonso, Brock Nelson, both the Davenport family cars. They are trying to get in for a big points haul in the owners. See David Johnson sliding back, Seidel, Barreto. And this is going to be interesting here, Brennan, because obviously we have a lot of cars who are now sitting at the back who've been into the wall. So up front, I don't quite expect the same level of insanity as they go 3-4 wide. But it's going to be interesting because now you're going to have a lot less cars in contention for this race.
Narrowing the field down really reduces chances of there being too many more issues. I'm very interested in watching these front 5 here that have kind of broken away. Clifton and Macro and the other guys that are up there. We've already seen the exciting battles up near the front that are 3 and 4 wide. I expect there to be more of those with these leaders.
For the moment, though, Clifton, Rutkowski in his first start. Now Macro wants to get around Rutkowski. Arctic Racing is way ahead right now on top of the owner's points leaderboard. Obviously, there is a possibility we may do a recount, a recalculation at some point of the owner's points. So we'll have to see. Just that's kind of we'll know by midway through the season if we need to readjust that, if things get too lopsided in favor of the 3-car teams, of which Star Motorsports now is Joe Rutkowski taking over in the number 44, and he is looking to go back to the front of the lead here. I have to say, this has been, it's kind of interesting. A little bit, oh my goodness, Colton Yo knocked down the wall hard. 2 interesting things to note here, Trey. The top 4 are driving away from the rest of this field. I don't know if that's just because they're not racing each other, if the back of the field is just tearing up the wall that much as Andrew Williams knocks it down. Another interesting thing to note, though, if you remember from last season, William Brock took over in the 34. His first race was at Homestead. He won that race. Rutkowski looking to keep the trajectory of first-time starters here at Homestead, scoring the victory in their first race.
Could possibly happen. We've still got quite a few laps remaining, at least half of the, a little under half of the race, so just a little bit over halfway here in the Miami Nights 500. And I want to take a second and say, probably the best decision I've ever done in Sandbox was put Fitzmagic right on one of the billboards in the back there. About 3 wide for the second position. Macro is going to hit the outside wall. That has been definitely the biggest problem of the night, is he is going to lose a ton of position on that outside lane. Oh yeah, that second car is toast on the right side. But you were mentioning about William Brock winning in his first start at Homestead. We could definitely see it, but we still have a lot of racing to go and quite a short time to get there. So it could possibly happen. I think the odds definitely are in Rutkowski's favor. But a 24 car of Shane Lake, he is going to try and drive pretty wide here, and we all know what Noah going to do here in that 97. And don't count out the number 11 of Patrick Smith. Kind of been the dark horse of the Body Armor Cup Series over the last year or so, as another guy really drives it into the turn 2 wall. So don't count out Patrick Smith, and don't count out pit stops definitely coming into factor here. But yeah, 44 of Joe Rutkowski is driving away from these guys. Got about 20 laps, 30 to go here from Homestead. Expect these guys to be hitting the pit lane soon, ladies and gentlemen. That is where this race is going to be won and lost if we don't have another caution.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Obviously, the back of the field, I mean, God knows how this is all going to play out. These guys, I will say this, for anybody who's not enjoying the wall knocking down, which I'm not thrilled with, the racing up front's actually been quite good, as Sakala is going to take Olvera, and Monaco 3 wide down the front straightaway. Goodyear has promised that they will get the tires sorted out, so we won't have these issues the next time we come to Homestead for the championship decider. Oh my goodness, they're 4 wide again. Gonna sort it back out to 3 wide. Nothing. Ooh, Monaco's in the wall.
Don't slide up. Don't slide up, Jesse.
Turner.
Should have used Hoosier, though. Or Firestone.
Well, it doesn't work on this mod. Oh my goodness, they are 3 wide for second. Smith clipped into the bottom of Lake. I don't think Lake got into the wall. I don't think. No, his side's still intact. Clifton Smith just got a big run there. And top two, or second and third, Clifton and Lake were tied at the line. Nice distance there. Lap 40 of 67 is ticking home. You got to start wondering about those pit stops, as I thought Igor Beretta was going to go down, but Rutkowski's driving away. But these guys in the back, these guys at second, they are going hard at it here for this second position, as Rutkowski is just pulling away, Brennan.
I am very impressed with Rutkowski. It's very hard to win in your first start of the season, and that's exactly what Rutkowski is doing, pulling away from the rest of these guys. He clearly has one of the fastest cars on the track, and it's just impressive for me for someone to get out there almost to a full second lead for the guys in second. Now, obviously, the guys in second are all fighting it out like 3 wide, like they are right now with the 10 car. Johnson going to the inside, trying to take second away from Blake and Patrick Smith. Now the O2 is getting into the battle as well. That's Igor Barreto.
And you got to watch out for the 61 is Zidell. David Johnson moving his way through the field. He's had a nice start to the season. Igor Beretta won the body armor bash. Patrick Smith, Shane Lake, Zidell all settling down there. The clock keeps ticking. You have to wonder. I swear, I did not think that Rutkowski had pit. So I'm a little confused because little interested to see how this goes. Rutkowski hasn't pit to my knowledge. We're on lap 43. The only driver who's in race winning, who we thought had a race winning car that's pit the last time, is Pendergast, and he's in 20th. And as he comes around the screen, he knocked the wall down. Definitely not as bad as some. Bouchard, I think, had his whole quarter panel stuffed up into the back of that car. And as I say that, Pendergast just got in the wall again, so there probably goes his race. But up front, Rutkowski is just doing a William Brock from last season. He is driving away from the field. And these guys, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Man, that got dicey there.
Yeah, everybody from about second back to 10th. Second through 10th, all under a blanket here, and they are just battling away for these positions.
And two things I can't believe that haven't happened. One, these guys haven't hit the pit road yet, because it's lap 45. A good third of this field hasn't hit the pit lane yet, so I expect that to happen any moment now. And two, I have no clue how that 44 of Rutkowski has a 138 lead as, somebody gave me Williams back there. I thought that was William Brock. They say that we remain green. But that 44 of Rutkowski is just running on rails in that Mercedes car. They're 4 wide behind him. I don't know, I guess Mercedes secretly put one of their F1 engines in that 44. The Clifton stuck up on the high side, about 3 cars. Is that Scott Upton up there?
Oh, this could be... Upton's not tracking. I think Upton's issue, Upton looks like he's got the cornering speed. Upton's got the cornering speed. He has nothing on the straightaways. Zidell and Clifton in the wall. This field, the gap is opening up. The differentials between these leaders is opening up. We'll see. We'll see if anybody has anything to catch Rutkowski. We'll see if this 41 of Upton slows him down. I will say this, as the points stand, Rutkowski pretty easily should jump into the top 20 in points if he were to win this race. Obviously, anything is possible, as we've seen tonight. All the chaos and all the guys knocking down the wall. Field is getting stretched out, though. You're going to have to keep an eye on this 32, though. I just don't see. Let me see as he comes around here. I don't think this camera angle is going to have a shot. Oh, yes, it will. That's still a bit of damage on that 32, but it may not be too bad. But Rakowski is just opening up such a gap now. 1.8 seconds here. He is just pulling away late in the going. Under 20 laps to go. Nathan Baird is now up to second. David Johnson's in third. Johnson, I don't think, has too much damage on the right side of that car. Baird looks like he's actually kept to 16. I don't think I remember seeing Baird get in the wall at all tonight. So if there's a guy left on at this track right now, it might be those three right there. Olvera, Johnson, and Baird all have no damage on their car. And the gap came down about 1/10.5 that time, Brennan. So you got to wonder. You know, Rutkowski jumped out to the big lead. Got to wonder if maybe he might have used up a little bit more of his stuff than he was hoping for.
You got to wonder that. Maybe Rutkowski tore out his tires too quickly and got out to too big of a lead. And now these guys who are kind of sitting back and just watching him run away are slowly reeling him back in, like Nathan Baird and like David Johnson. Looked like Rutkowski didn't have much of an issue getting past Scott Upton and a lot of these other guys, so good to see lap cars in NR getting out of the way for once.
That is always definitely a nice change anytime you see that happen. We love it when that happens. I think Rutkowski's lead this time opened up to, came back down again. 1.61 seconds. Baird has got himself a little bit of a gap, so we're going to have to see. It's Mercedes versus Honda. Not something I think we ever thought we were going to say in a stock car race at Homestead, but it's Mercedes versus Honda versus Chevy versus Dodge. I don't know if anybody else can catch these guys. Again, we're still keeping an eye on if any of these dudes have to pit. They may not. We'll find out. I just don't see, because if Rutkowski didn't pit, of course, at this rate, I'm half expecting that this is on 1X, and then this is just a complete disaster, but Rutkowski continues to lead. He's just ticking down the laps. Ticking down the laps here as this race winds down. We'll see what...
I mean, another thing you've got to really factor in here is if we get another caution, I mean, like, all notes go out through the window, and then what do you do, honestly, especially if you're a crew chief, but you bring your guy down pit road, risking losing all that track position, given how crazy this race has been. I just have no clue, but that is the last thing that the driver of that 44 wants to see. The last thing that Joe wants to hear on his radio with over 3 or 4 to go is yellow is out, because then this race just gets flipped sideways and on its head simultaneously. Got under 12 laps to go, so anything can happen in those 11 or 12 laps.
Well, Baird has brought the gap down to 1.37 seconds. Now, it'll open back up this time as Olvera's going to go by Baird, I think. Let's see here. Olvera going to get a nice clean run into the corner. Johnson got a huge run. My goodness, the momentum that 10 car carried. Let's see how big of a gap it is at the line. I think it came down a little bit. Probably went back up, but a couple hundreds off. Angel Olvera, he saw Josh Williamson win last week. Wants to retie Williamson atop the Body Armor Cup Series win record board, but that's a tall order. 11 laps to go at the stripe, and 1.3 seconds is the gap, and I think it's going to open up more this time. We'll have to see. Obviously, now, if knock on wood, something that we've seen happen to a lot of cars tonight happens to Rutkowski, that's going to change this race. But I don't see that happening. That 44 car is planted in the middle of the racetrack. Olvera just chasing him down. I don't know. I think the clock is starting to run out here for Olvera. It just might be too little, too late for that 42 team.
Listen, just pancake the outside wall, too. I saw that in the top right corner. I think that these guys just would have gotten more uniformed in a single file line a couple laps ago. They might have a shot at cracking Rutkowski off the top position. I think it's going to be too little too late, especially if we don't get a yellow. But the way those guys have been pinballing in the back all night long, we can't count out that factor. I think he might be at the distance where he can start kind of getting a draft off of Mercedes. Not entirely sure, but just what a drive by both these guys regardless, especially in his first start, Joe Rakowski. If he ends up winning this, definitely going to set HOMESTEAD as
Oh, 3/10 dropped off the clock that time. And you can see the gap visibly on the racetrack. Olvera, I think Trey is right, and I think that gap is starting to close back in. I think the 42 might be starting to get a little bit of a draft off of that 44 of Rutkowski. We're going to see at the line here. It's 8 laps to go at the stripe. Olvera's going to be under a second, I think. 1 second.
We have a race. Olvera's closing in on Rutkowski. At first, I didn't know if Olvera would have enough time because Olvera really wasn't gaining a whole lot. But these last couple of laps, Olvera's sniffed the draft off that 44 car and is now really reeling in that number 44. And we might have a battle on our hands these next few laps. Let's see what the margin says as they come across the line here.
It is 8/10 at the line, and it is worth noting the 16 of Baird is catching him as well. So I don't even think it's necessarily that the 42 and the 16 are running fat or running above what they need to. I think this 44 car, I think he's running out of pace. The gap at the line, is he got a motor going down or something? That is a huge gap. He's losing tenths at a time. Olvera's got the lead down to 7/10. Baird's now under 1.9 seconds behind. I don't think Baird can catch these leaders, but Olvera is absolutely going to get to Rutkowski in the next couple of laps now, unless the fuel window's about to run up, which that's entirely possible too. At the line this time, it's going to be Rutkowski still leads. We're watching the monitor as it comes down. Oh my goodness, Olvera is catching him. He's shaping this up. He may catch him 2-3 laps to go.
Second off of that 44. And now this is the point where Rutkowski is praying somebody just pinball off the wall and just dive right into the inside head on. Anything to get this yellow flag out and end this thing. But Olvera is coming in that Chevrolet. He was riding right in the tire tracks of that Mercedes. He's gonna get a big run down the front straightaway. We have got a dogfight to the end, Brennan. I tell you what.
Can visibly see just how much faster Olvera is over Rutkowski. The gap is really starting to wind down. It is under 4/10 of a second, and you can just see how much more speed that car is carrying down the back straightaway. About a 3 car lengths back. Now, catching the 44 is one thing. We will see if Olvera will be able to pass him as it's getting really tight now. We'll see what the gap is across the line.
Oh, it's under 2/10.
On the back bumper now as they go through turns 1 and 2. It is under 2/10 of a second.
It is under
really heating up here right at the end of the race.
It is under 2/10 of a second is the gap now at the front of the lead for the front of the race win here with under 3 laps to go. 2 laps to go at the stripe. Rutkowski in that 44. He's just lost so much pace the last couple of laps, and Olvera's car has really hooked up to the racetrack. Now here they come heading down the front straightaway for the next to last time at the stripe point. 12 is the gap. Olvera's looking to the bottom. I don't know. We may see a second race in a row with a last lap pass. Olvera to the bottom. Nothing doing there just yet. He's going to need a massive run heading down into 3 and 4. Here they come racing down into 3 and 4. Oh, Rutkowski's going to hold him down the middle. Rutkowski holds him on the middle. Oh, this is going to be another one of those. We're going to have to see white flag this time by at Homestead, Miami. And it's Rutkowski. Olvera. Rutkowski's dominated the second half of this race. Olvera, those cars come alive here on the final run. Olvera to the bottom. Let's see if he can make a move stick on the 44. Rutkowski side by side down the back. No, he can't get there. Oh, he's almost there.
Oh, I think he made his move too early.
Oh, here he comes. Oh, checked.
No, he had to check up there. That's the race.
Oh, coming onto the front straightaway, and he's not going to have enough. Rutkowski's going to score the victory in his first career Body Armor Cup Series start in the 44 and scores Mercedes-Benz their first Body Armor Cup Series victory in absolute dominating fashion. Angel Oliveira just 900s off at the line. Nathan Baird gets his career best finish. David Johnson gets his second top 5 of the year. Shane Lake is going to come home with his first top 5. Jesse Turner, how about that? Finally getting out of the basement in the points. He goes 6 in the number 6. Dustin Davis gets another top 10. Caleb Rose goes home 8th. Nelson Reeves and Justin Zidell take a look there through the rest of the leaderboard. I have to say that was one of the crazier, more interesting Homestead races that I've ever seen. I hope I don't see something like that again, but it was wild as all get out at the start of the race. It dulled out there in the middle, and Angel Oliveira, he gave it absolutely his all late in the going of that race. Just did not have enough of the 44 Rutkowski. Second year in a row we come to Homestead, and a driver in his first start scores the victory. First, I have to say that was an interesting race, but I guess we'll go round table first thoughts on the end of the race here, lads. Trey, starting with you. Overall thoughts on this race? Definitely one of the more interesting races that we've ever seen here at Homestead.
I don't think it was. I think on track, it was about as crazy as Atlanta with everybody hitting the wall in the absolute madhouse that was the first 20, 25 so or laps that this race was. But I am really surprised that these guys didn't come down the pit lane. But I think they were just about to get that cycle because coming off of 4, I saw Pendergast, Andrew Williams, and a couple other guys on the pit lane. So I think that 44 Rutkowski might have been trying to save a little bit of fuel to get to the end, and that definitely paid off. But just amazing drive by the driver of that number 44 Mercedes. Joe Rutkowski is your winner. Angel Oliveira coming so close to getting it done and tying Josh Williamson for the winners, the amount of wins in the Body Armor Cup Series, but he just made his move way too early down the back straightaway. I think if he moved there, if he tried to move to the inside through 3 and 4, he might have gotten in a drag race down the front straightaway. But man, what a drive by both of those guys, and definitely one of the more interesting races in the Body Armor Cup Series we are going to see this season.
I did wrong is there's not supposed to be white at the bottom.
I think that was a spectacular race. It was a little sloppy, obviously, with all the cars getting into the wall. The 3 wide and the 4 wide was really fun to watch, especially the battles for the lead, too. And that finish right at the end, just watching the 42 just reel in Rutkowski. I thought Oliveira was going to get by Rutkowski and win with a couple laps left, but Rutkowski held his own and was able to take the line away from Oliveira. And it was really, I noticed, in the final corner, it was that run out of the corner. Rutkowski had a lot better of an exit out of the corner, and that's what won in the race, I believe. It was overall a great performance by that 44 team. Obviously, in his first start, you gotta really tip the hat to him. That's a very difficult thing to do. And holding off Oliveira, who has several wins in this series, is just adds more to that.
No, it was definitely, again, that was one of the stranger races we've ever seen, but it was not a bad race by any means. Another, we're 3 for 3 so far, and having these close finishes come down to the wire. Caleb Rose, Josh Williamson, and now Joe Rutkowski here. A wild start to the season through the first 3 races. Angel Oliveira so close there. You gotta wonder that little slide he just needed to get, maybe get around Baird a little bit quicker, anything, but you have to give your hats off to Rutkowski there. Take a look there through the rest of the results. A complete train wreck of a disaster night for Stratton Racing. 40th and 41st. That's going to knock Scott Upton most definitely off the top of the standings. Bailey Pendergast, a disaster of a night. Brett Sierra, Ryan Durrani, a lot of guys at the top of the points who just did not have it tonight. So we're definitely going to see some shake-up there. But we wrap up here on a wild Friday night here at Homestead. First off, I have to say the Autonation 300, the Turkey Hill National Series season opener, kicks off tomorrow on AG Racing. But got something else, boys. Next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we go racing at the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway, for the Daytona 500 under the lights. Trey, we saw last year, you were in the booth with us last year. That race under the lights can get all sorts of chaos, and we have a brand new version of Daytona. What are you thinking heading into Daytona next week?
What part of an
First off,
overbearing
Dustin
government
Davis,
says creativity?
please don't do whatever you did last year.
I
That's the first thing I ask. Second off, that is definitely going to be one of the highlights of the season, especially with the high downforce package. We are going to see these cars glued to the track. Sparks are going to be galore, and overall is going to be definitely one of the greatest races of the season, in my opinion. And who knows, we could see once again another first-time winner like Joe Rakowski tonight, or we could see someone like Angel Vera or Josh Williamson capitalize. Daytona, these plate tracks, I tell you, are such wild card tracks. Like anybody can win at any of these tracks, and it's definitely going to be definitely going to be very fun to watch. Tune in next week on Saturday, I believe it is Saturday or Sunday, sometime in the weekend. You guys aren't going to want to miss it.
That's going to be a must-watch race.
Oh yeah, that's.
It is absolutely going to be a barn burner. We saw last year it was absolute calamity, and Christopher Alphaby looking to defend his title as the Daytona 500 champion, but a whole flock of new guys going to be looking to knock him off the crown. We'll see. Last year was a different version of Daytona. This one may or may not play out the same way. We'll have to wait until next Saturday night at the Daytona International Speedway, but until then, Joe Rutkowski and Polar Star Motorsports have scored their first Body Armor Cup Series victory here tonight under the lights at Homestead Miami Speedway. So congratulations to Joe Rutkowski on his first win. And for Brendan Wilmington, Trey Wright, Matt Tuck signing out here for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, and we will see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.